2022 was an exceptional year for anime, so I'm bringing you the best shows that I think are simply the best. We had got a great year of animation sauce, la creme de la creme, deliciousness to remember. Without further ado, I must start with Bocchi the Rock. This is by far the best show of 2022. I was so surprised how good it is, also the way the staff's creativity to show Bocchi's social anxiety was close to my heart. Also the fact that it was the funniest. Found myself laughing so hard at every scene where she just freezes up or faints, or like when she were asked to speak up in her school festival after a great performance, yet she just jumped at the crowd like, man, that was hilarious. I'm starting with Bocchi because it just deserves it. I wish that they make a second season soon, and I would like personally that slice of life anime to be produced like Bocchi the Rock, because normally it gets boring really quickly, but it felt like a breeze watching Bocchi. This is the first part of the final Bleach season. There will be 4 parts overall. Bleach was one of my favorite shonen anime since 2004 because of the cool characters it has, for instance Zaraki, Kenpachi and Unohana Retsu, which are my favorites in the series. But most importantly, the way the production value got into an insane level with this latest season. I will recommend you to watch the OG Bleach first, which has 366 episodes, before going into the Blood War arc season. You won't understand the recent events if you hop on this season directly. The action, graphics, visuals were top notch, although the music wasn't as good as the OG Bleach, but it's still great to see. Hopefully part 2 is better. This was a conclusion to the Mob Psycho 100 franchise, and I would like to express my utmost love for this series as a whole. It hits a lot of emotional aspects, also the fights animations are insanely good, it makes you feel the love poured into it by Studio Bones. This show will be a classic in the anime genre, like Death Note or Full Metal Alchemist in the future for sure. He is a loser at the beginning of the show, but when it mattered he was always there to help. And by that I mean he worked under Reagan, who used his psychic powers to exorcise evil spirits. Mob encounters various villains throughout the show. His personality got wrecked, but he stood up and fought hard and changed himself with the help of a lot of people. Mob's conclusion was one of the best I have ever seen recently, cause a lot of animes have bad endings. Mob is undoubtedly my personal favorite anime of 2022, but Bocchi the Rock is the anime of the year hands down. Made in Abyss is the type of show that have cute characters, but it isn't cute in its core. What I mean by that is the themes are dark. Its strong plot points are in the depth of a deep forest with multiple stages that if you keep going down, you can't go back up the normal way. Either your body will transform into some weird shaped monster or simply die. One of the most gruesome scenes in the show for me is where Riko gets attacked by a monster and her hand swells a lot. Consequently, Reg, her companion, tries to cut her hands off with a rock, but thankfully she gets saved by Nanachi, a former human that lives in the abyss. It goes without saying that it's nerve-wracking, but it's an enjoyable ride. Overall, the adventure side of this show is amazing. You're always on the edge of your seat. Great show with great plot, can't wait to see more in the future. This is the 3rd season of Kaguya-sama's series, which is the best rom-com I have seen this year. I'm not normally into rom-com that much because you know most drags out the story too much for no reason, and at the end they make it worse. But Kaguya-sama is something else. The main cast are all likable, it has a lot of funny moments which are worth it. For instance, Chika's shenanigans, Ichigami's fire responses and Shirogani's learning to rap were up there for me. Of course, the main thing about the show is the concept of love is war, but this season advances into a more in-depth about the confession of Kaguya and Shirogane, where I feel it was really satisfying seeing these characters mature and just confess their love. The comedy is great in this show, so if you are a fan of rom-coms, you should definitely check this one out. Upon arriving at Onegashima, Ajiro Shinpei is told that his childhood friend Ushio is deceased. He then discovers that her death was mysterious. He then sees some weird stuff happen in front of him, where a shadow Mio standing in front of Ushio's house contemplating to kill him and the real Mio. Later, they make a team whose goal is to fight these aliens thingies to save themselves from a huge disaster that may kill everyone on the Onigashima island. This anime had a lot of surprising twists and a pretty good animation quality to go with it. Summertime rendering, if not for Bocchi and Mob Psycho, it would have been my anime of the year easily. Eiko dreams of being a top singer. Kongmin is a strategist that wants to help her achieve that dream. They get through multiple obstacles to get into the top And the final hurdle was a 100,000 like post to get through to Summer Sonia, a popular concert where the best singers perform. Eiko, with the help of her work friends, try to make it happen. Paripi Koumei is a really fun experience where music is portrayed as a way to express one's feelings, which captivated him to help her succeed in the world of music with his masterful ideas, high-level communication skills, and by manipulating crowds to his advantage. He loved Eiko's music vibes, which enabled a cooperation between them, although she was skeptical at first, but after seeing his dedication she felt that her dream was closer than ever. One of the best sports anime I have seen recently. It represents football perfectly. I have even read the manga after the show ended, which is even better. Hope they announce season 2 soon. Aoi's dream was always to become a pro football player, so one day he meets Fukuda, an Esperian youth coach who searched talent all over Japan. He catches Fukuda's eyes and gets an invitation to try selection on the Esperian football ground. After getting selected, Aoi thought he will play as a striker like the majority of football sports anime, but nah, the coach recommended that he switches positions from an attacker to a defender. It has a realistic approach to the game, and it actually makes sense that players need to use their brain to win like real life. Any football fan should watch this show because personally it was a pleasant surprise. My Dress Up Darling is a cosplay candy show, but the fun that goes into making clothes and cosplaying characters was really cool. Marin asked Gojo to make her dresses for some cosplay events and eventually falls in love with him. Gojo tries to perfect his Hinado art from his childhood as he was fascinated with the way his grandpa made them. He makes contact with several cosplaying stars because of Marin's social skills and begins to understand how he could develop his artistic craft even further through experiencing different kinds of character design, which he tries to mimic based from games or mangas that doesn't have much detail. I really liked this show's visuals and music and overall positive vibe, although the story isn't that deep but enjoyable nonetheless. One of the quickest marriage proposals in anime history. Anya tries to get closer to Donovan Desmond's son to pave a way for Lloyd, her father, to approach him closely. So to do that, he wishes that Anya become an Imperial Stella student, but it deems difficult even with her Esper powers, which enables her to read people's minds. I would definitely recommend you this show for its stellar action, also a lot of entertaining and funny moments to enjoy. The first season was a blast and can't wait to see more in the future. I loved both Mob Psycho 103 and most importantly Bocchi the Rock, which is hands down the best show of 2022 by far in my opinion. That's all for now, catch you on the next video here on COCKTAILANI, and as always take care.